Experts are blaming poor government policies and bad governance for retarding economic growth for more than a decade. They say the electricity crisis, the collapse of state entities and high levels of crime reduce investment opportunities. The Center for Development and Enterprise accuses political leaders of paying mere lip service to growth. To elaborate on this further, I am joined now by the Center's Executive Director, Bernstein. And thank you so much for your time. A very good morning to you. Let's talk a little bit about this impact. I mean, this has been happening for 15 years. And unfortunately, it's not just the South African citizens that are feeling the brunt of poor governance, lack of service delivery, accountability and the like, but it's also potential investors to the country. What have been some of those findings?
Good morning. I think you've got to look at the many crises facing South Africa today and the fact that we're struggling to get growth and try and understand why we're in this situation. And that's one of the big challenges. We have not had an accurate diagnosis of why we have all these many crises facing the country and why the costs of doing business, even the possibility of doing business in South Africa is going so high. And so our document today is saying that in effect, if you look at what government has done, we don't really have a growth strategy at all. And adding up all the things that are being done or not done, we have an anti-growth strategy. So you have to ask yourself, why is Eskom in such a mess? Yes, it's cadre deployment, the Guptas, corruption, of course. But it's more than that. We made a very bad policy choice to put all our eggs in one basket and have a monopoly of energy generation, when many other countries had moved towards private players competing with each other to bring prices down and deliver considerably more power to their countries. The same with Transnet, another monopoly over essential services for our economy, whether it's port management or freight rail or PRASA, commuter trains. So we are saying these are policy choices that have been made, and we've made a lot of very bad ones. Secondly, the way in which we govern the country has not been at all conducive to growth, as in fact added to the costs of doing business. And then we have had inadequate leadership. The president presides over a cabinet he has chosen, which is, let me be polite, full of mediocrities in the main, with only one or two exceptions. This is not how to get growth. We've not prioritized growth. We haven't made the key decisions for growth. We have long lists of all sorts of priorities, and growth is sort of one of them somewhere. But if you want growth, and there's a lot of evidence of this around the world, you have to make deliberate choices that is our primary objective. We're going for growth and jobs. And South Africa's never done that.
And help us understand here, you know, the truth of the matter is, and let's be very frank with each other, we have got people that are educated within the president's cabinet. The president himself is an educated individual, which then begs the question, why is it that we've got such poor policy decision making? Because poor policies means that you're poorly informed, you are poorly advised, there are poor decisions that are taken, but also more importantly, there is not enough research into exactly how the policies will translate into implementable strategies, right? And how it will actually have an impact on the country. Now, it's either A, the people that are governing us do not know what they're doing, which in many instances I struggle with that notion, because surely we've got educated people within the cabinet itself, including the president, or B, someone benefits or people benefit from South Africa not working. You can't have this amount of corruption and policy decision, poor policy decision that gets taken if no one is benefiting for the way in which the country is poorly governed.
You could have both. I think that look, the president told us, and he has repeated, that the unity of his political party is more important than South Africa. Now, the consequence of that is that you perpetuate cadre deployment, which essentially, besides being unconstitutional and illegal according to the Chief Justice of South Africa, what you're doing is you're saying to individuals, many of whom are not competent to do that particular job, you are saying you must be loyal to the party above all, but they also have fiduciary responsibilities to the institution where they are in charge of spending money or building infrastructure. So you put people in a very difficult situation, and in general, we know where their loyalties lie. So there's some real conflicts, contradictions in how we're running this country. And then there are, you can call it bad policy choices, or you can call it ideology, but it's got very little to do with education in many respects. It's making choices that are not conducive to economic growth. So we're told we're going to localize production in South Africa, but we're even saying this for things we don't make. Now, if you force localization by the state for the things that they're going to acquire and state-owned entities, we know that both Eskom and Transnet leadership have told us this is impossible. This is pushing up the price of goods. Therefore, they have to charge more to their customers. And sometimes they can't even get the things they need. And it takes months and months and months for the departments to say, okay, we don't manufacture this. You can get it elsewhere.
And it's unfortunately a problem that we need to be able to deliberate, and I'm sure we're going to be doing it for years on end as South Africans who are patriots are trying to just make this country work. Of course, that was Bernstein, who is the director for the Center for Development as well as Enterprise, giving us her opinion on that and around poor governance and exactly what is it and why is it that we seem to be failing here where the country policy decision making is concerned.